Every spring, a white-flowered plant erupts from the forest floor across North America. Uninvited, unstoppable, and almost universally ignored. Independent nutritional analyses have documented vitamin C concentrations in its young leaves that exceed those found in fresh orange juice by a factor of 5. Its antioxidant profile includes the same chemical family responsible for the documented benefits of cruciferous vegetables, kale, broccoli, wild mustard. And yet this plant is legally classified as a noxious weed in 35 U.S. states, with governments spending millions annually attempting to eradicate it. The system declared war on it. The botanical record tells a more complicated story. For over 6,000 years, this plant occupied a place in European kitchens, hedgerows, and medicinal literature. Its leaves carry the sharp bite of garlic fused with the clean volatility of mustard, a flavor profile that no commercial herb replicates. It grows in shade, in disturbed soil, along forest margins and hiking trail edges. It needs no fertilizer, no irrigation, no human permission. Its Latin name is Alliaria petiolata, known in English as garlic mustard. If this kind of forgotten botanical knowledge speaks to you, consider subscribing. There is much more waiting in the vault. The earliest evidence of garlic mustard in human culture predates the Egyptian pyramids. Seeds were recovered from Mesolithic kitchen middens in Denmark and Germany, pressed into the cooking residue of ancient clay vessels dated to approximately 4000 BCE. This was not a weed to early Europeans. It was a condiment, a vegetable, and a reference point in the pharmacopoeia of multiple cultures across the continent. Medieval herbalists documented it with precision. John Gerard's 1597 Herbal described it as a common sauce herb, used the way modern cooks reach for garlic or mustard. European peasants knew it under dozens of regional names: sauce alone, Jack by the hedge, poor man's mustard. These names tell the story of a plant that belonged to communities without access to spice trade routes. It required no cultivation, no land ownership, no market transaction. It offered its sharp, layered chemistry to anyone with the literacy to recognize it. Then European settlers carried it across the Atlantic as a familiar culinary anchor in an unfamiliar landscape. The plant adapted perfectly. The knowledge did not travel with it. Garlic mustard produces its distinctive aroma through a class of compounds called glucosinolates. These sulfur-containing molecules are the same chemical family responsible for the pungency of horseradish, wasabi, and commercial mustard. When a leaf is crushed, enzymes called myrosinuses convert glucosinolates into isothiocyanates, volatile compounds that create the sharp, penetrating flavor. This reaction is a biological defense mechanism, not an invitation. The plant evolved this chemistry to deter insect herbivores and suppress competing vegetation. Young spring leaves contain the highest glucosinolate concentrations and the most complex flavor profile. Layered garlic, clean bitterness, and a faint sweetness that diminishes as the season progresses. As leaves age through late spring into summer, the chemical architecture shifts. Mature leaf tissue accumulates cyanogenic glycosides, compounds capable of releasing hydrogen cyanide under specific enzymatic conditions. This is not a minor botanical footnote. It is a documented chemical reality that historical foraging cultures consistently acknowledged. The chemistry of this plant is not static. What the April leaf offers is chemically distinct from what the July leaf presents. Young garlic mustard leaves have been analyzed in multiple independent nutritional studies. A 100-gram fresh weight sample of young spring foliage contains approximately 261 milligrams of vitamin C. For comparison, fresh orange juice delivers roughly 50 milligrams per 100 grams. Garlic mustard's young leaves carry over 5 times the vitamin C of commercially dominant citrus, growing freely along woodland edges. Vitamin A precursors, specifically beta-carotene, are also present in significant concentrations. The leaves additionally contain vitamin E, potassium, calcium, and a range of polyphenolic antioxidants documented in peer-reviewed food science literature. These are not estimates derived from traditional lore. They are analytical results from accredited laboratory protocols. But the data has not changed the plant's legal standing in North America. It remains a target of active eradication campaigns. The numbers produce an uncomfortable question. How is weed defined? By ecology or by economics? A plant this nutritionally documented across European botanical history had no space in a system built on uniform, shippable, barcode-ready commodities. Every honest account of garlic mustard must include what its modern champions frequently omit. The plant contains cyanogenic glycosides, compounds documented in the mature leaf tissue of Alliaria petiolata. Under specific enzymatic conditions, these compounds are capable of releasing hydrogen cyanide. This is not theoretical toxicity fabricated to discredit the plant. It is peer-reviewed chemistry published in the Journal of Chemical Ecology. Researchers Cipollini and Gruner documented this compound class specifically in garlic mustard in 2007, noting its role in the plant's defensive chemistry. Historical foraging cultures across Europe consistently drew a hard distinction between young spring growth and mature summer foliage. That distinction was considered foundational knowledge, not a warning label, but a basic literacy. Modern enthusiasm for superfoods tends to flatten these distinctions into marketing language. The plant has documented nutritional value. It also carries documented chemical risks, concentrated in older tissue as the season advances. Botanical knowledge has always required holding both realities simultaneously. The same glucosinolate chemistry that defines the young leaf becomes a different molecular story by midsummer. Nature's generosity has always operated on a seasonal timetable that demands attention. Garlic mustard arrived in North America around 1868. It was deliberately introduced on Long Island, New York, by European settlers who brought it as a familiar culinary plant. For nearly a century, it spread quietly through disturbed woodland edges across the continent. The invasive classification crystallized in the late 20th century as ecologists documented its allelopathic properties. Garlic mustard releases compounds into the soil that disrupt mycorrhizal fungal networks and inhibit germination of native understory plants. This is real ecological pressure, documented across multiple forest studies. The plant measurably alters forest understory composition where it establishes in dense populations. But the word invasive carries cultural weight that extends beyond its ecological definition. In the European landscapes where this plant evolved, it does not receive the same classification. It grows along hedgerows as an unremarkable native herb. Identical chemistry, identical biology, different legal reality. The distinction is not botanical. It is geographic, and the economic logic underneath that geography is rarely examined. A plant with 6,000 years of human utility becomes a policy target precisely when no commercial infrastructure exists to profit from it. Garlic mustard is a biennial plant. In its first year, it grows as a low rosette of kidney-shaped scalloped leaves, hugging the cold ground through winter. In its second year, it sends up a flowering stem that reaches between 60 and 120 centimeters. The white four-petaled flowers appear from April to June across its range in North America. Each mature plant produces hundreds of seeds enclosed in narrow siliques, the elongated seed pods characteristic of the Brassicaceae family. Those seeds remain viable in the soil for up to 5 years. The plant thrives in partial shade, a niche that most agricultural crops cannot efficiently occupy. It colonizes disturbed ground with biological precision: roadsides, forest margins, stream banks, trail edges. Its deep taproot accesses moisture from dry summer soils long after shallow-rooted competitors have wilted. This is exactly what makes eradication campaigns so expensive and largely ineffective. The plant does not require ideal conditions. It exploits available conditions with the efficiency of a species refined across millions of years. Nature built this plant to inhabit human-disturbed landscapes, because for millennia, those landscapes were precisely where it belonged. Garlic mustard is not a villain. It is not a hero. It is a plant with a 6,000-year relationship with human civilization, introduced to a new world before the knowledge systems that understood it could follow. Its nutritional documentation is real, peer-reviewed, and consistent across multiple independent analyses. Its toxicity in mature leaf tissue is equally real, equally documented, and equally non-negotiable. Its ecological impact on North American forest understories is measurable, ongoing, and genuinely complex. None of these truths cancel each other. What has been lost is not the plant. It persists, unbothered, along 10,000 forest margins. What has eroded is the contextual literacy that once surrounded it. The capacity to read seasonal change in the chemistry of a single leaf. The understanding that spring and summer present entirely different biological propositions. Industrial food culture does not require this nuance. It requires barcodes, shelf life, and predictable yield curves. But plants do not follow industrial logic. They follow seasons, soil chemistry, and evolutionary time. The forest remembers everything the supermarket has decided to forget.